Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I, Aqeel Abbas, lecturer in English at Govt Postgraduate College, Bhakkar, welcome you to my class. The topic for today's lecture will be how to conclude a presentation. It's a very important uh, lecture about presentation skills. The students from other universities they can subscribe to our channel and know all about presentation skills and English language. A lot of lectures about English language in this channel. So, how to conclude a presentation? It is a very important question. It is very beneficial to know for the people who are in business firms, the politicians, the teachers, and people from every walk of life, the salesmen who have to present before an audience, the TV show commentators, everyone else need to know how to give a good presentation and how to conclude a good presentation, because it is as important as to give a good presentation as to give a good conclusion to your presentation. Students, a poorly executed closing statement can completely undermine an otherwise successful presentation. That is why it is important that presenters give their conclusions thoughtful consideration. And in today's lecture, I have written down 10 points for you, 10 different ways how to conclude a presentation. We will discuss all of these one by one. The conclusion of a presentation is important because, for the most part, an audience will remember a presentation's beginning and ending most clearly. The beginning of a presentation should grab your audience attention. This encourages them to become invested in what you have to say and prepares them for the rest of your message. A speech ending should summarize the main points of the presentation and create a lasting impression in the minds of your audience. So it is very important. Today I'm going to tell you 10 important factors and ways to conclude the presentation. Giving suggestions and recommendations and dealing with the questions of the audience will be discussed later in the upcoming lectures. How to give suggestions at the end of a presentation and how to deal with the questions of the audience will be told in the upcoming lectures. So there are 10 ways to conclude a presentation. The first one is summarize the key points. Summarize the key points. Choose 3 or 4 points from presentation and reiterate them. Tell them again. This is a great way to ensure that your main points are appropriately communicated and that your audience is walking away with the information that you intended to convey. When summarizing the key points, give them context and show the audience exactly how to support your main argument. Number 2 is echo the core message. Repeating a theme or core message that was mentioned in the introduction can create a powerful conclusion. To an audience, it can feel like the speaker is coming full circle and will signal to them that the presentation is concluding. You can accomplish this several ways. For example, set up a question during the introduction and finish your speech by answering that question. You can conclude a story you started during your presentation. Use the anecdote to show the core message. Give your presentation a memorable title and then use the title to conclude the speech. Number 3. Present a call to action. Provide your audience with clear and specific actions to take now that they are armed with the information from your presentation. Calls to action should include strong acting verbs. Number 4. Use a powerful quote. The key to choosing an effective quote to conclude your presentation is to find one that is a little more obscure. A famous quote will look normal and your audience will likely stop listening because they know all about that. You could consider looking for quotes from modern personalities to ensure that they are fresh to you and your audience. Be sure to choose a quote that relates to the theme of your presentation and will resonate with your audience. Number 5, ask a rhetorical question. Leaving the audience with a thought-provoking question is a great way to ensure that they will continue to think about your presentation long after it is concluded. Make sure that the question applies to the topics covered and that your audience will leave thinking about possibilities and opportunities. Number 6, tell a story. Anecdotes, stories can bolster a speech ending. Here are some tips for using a story to conclude a presentation. Dear students, make sure the story is brief. At the end of the presentation, choose a story that relates back to the main points of the presentation. Stories about a customer experience or successful case study are effective. You can make sure the story is relatable and encourages empathy from your audience. Number 7, give a visual image. If possible, finding a powerful visual can leave a lasting impression with your audience. You can combine this strategy with another from this list and use it on its own. Be sure to leave the image up even after you have concluded your presentation to give your audience more time to think about the image and the points you made. If you are delivering a time-sensitive message, you could utilize this strategy by showing a running timer. The timer will add emphasis to your closing remarks and inspire your audience to take action. Number 8, acknowledge others. Though not an inspiring way to end a presentation, it is sometimes necessary to thank contributors at the end of your speech. Contributors would be considered as individuals that helped you build the presentation, the people who gathered important data for you, served as members of the project you are presenting on. So this will encourage them, they will feel happy about that. Number 9, use a short but powerful sentence. Leaving an audience with a memorable statement will impress them and grab their attention. If you are stuck, one way to do this is to utilize the power of 3. Combining information into groups of 3 makes it more rhythmic and memorable for your audience. For example, Julius Caesar used this method when he said, "I came, I saw, I conquered." So there are 3 short words which had a great impact. Make them laugh. The last one is this: depending on the subject matter, closing out a presentation with a joke can be a great way to drive a point home and leave your audience with something to remember. Just be sure to choose or craft a joke that will echo the main points of your presentation. So these were the 10 points that you have to remember while concluding a presentation. You will keep this in mind. The students from my own college, they will take points they will write down the headings on their notebook, and when the homework will be given to you, written assignment will be given to you, you will have to write about all of these. Thanks for watching the video, students. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.